Good afternoon, everyone.
Speak up.
Vivian, put that mic now. Earphones. Cheryl, she didn't put that on for the earphones.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, speak up louder.
Yes.
Hold it close.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you for coming out to have the opportunity to meet Sal. But first, I want to start off to wish Beverly Adira happy birthday. It is her birthday today.
Happy birthday.
And she's standing in the back.
Beverly in there?
Yes, it's her birthday. So, today's meeting, it is a meet and greet with Jimenez, Salvador Jimenez. He is from Segovia. He is the executive director there at Segovia. He will be with us on Tuesdays and Wednesdays here at the Carlotta as the executive director here until we find, or until there is an executive director that is chosen to be here permanently here with us. So Sal is going to do a brief introduction, and at the end we'll have questions that he can answer. I'm going to have Zena and myself go out there because this is the only microphone we have because we don't have surround sound in here like we do in the auditorium. We'll go out there, stand next to whoever has any questions. We'll yell out the question, and Sal can then answer those questions for us. Is that okay? Okay, here you go, Sal. Spotlight on you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Like Vivian said, my name is Sal Jimenez. I'm the executive director of Segovia currently, and I was asked to come and assist Carlotta during the transition period when we get a new executive director for this community. As she mentioned, I'm going to be here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I'm only 10 minutes away too. It's not that far, Segovia, from here, and I can be able to assist. Of course, Vivian, as the assistant executive director, she's going to be the one, also in charge when I'm not here, and to support. I'm really here. I'm here to support the community, to support the directors. You have a pretty good, team here with the directors in every department. Some of them that have been here for a long time. So I'm just here to support them. I'm here to make sure that if they need any guidance, if they need any help, and it's not only going to be me that I'm coming in here. We're also going to have a senior executive director that will be coming in on Fridays. On Fridays, we don't have a schedule yet when he's going to be coming in, but we just want to make sure that you are provided with the support that you needed, the residents and also the directors. I've been with Oakmont for almost 3 years. I started there at Segovia, and I've been there for those 3 years. Before that, my experience has been with Watermark. Actually, I work with Watermark in Beverly Hills, and I work with Watermark in Orange County, another community. And actually, this community, I already knew about this community because when one of our human resources directors that was here before, when I was with Watermark, I came in and supported the community for, I think it was 2 months or 3 months that she was out. When she was on maternity leave, I came in and supported the human resources department. So I'm kind of familiar, how things work out, I never thought I was going to come back here again to help this community. Before Watermark, I also worked with a company that is called Silverado. That Silverado company specializes on memory care, and that's when I started also my career on the industry. I work on skilled nursing too, and I have been in charge of many different departments from the housekeeping, laundry, and also the business office and the assistant of the executive director, and all the way to executive director. So I really have the heart for what I do. I really enjoy working with the elderly, with seniors, and providing the best services that we can. that's that's my background on what I've been done so far in my career, and I'm always my goal and my expectations is that all the residents are very happy where they're living, because this is your home, and you're gonna be treated like you're at home, and we gotta make sure that you feel like you're at home and you get everything that you need. That's my philosophy. That's what really drives me, to do everything that I can on a daily basis, to see the smiles on your faces, to see that you're happy, where you live, and that that you're treated the way you deserve to be treated. Okay. We don't know how long it's gonna take, for our leadership team to hire a new executive director, but I'll be here until that time comes. Okay. Any questions? Let's get the microphone over there, so that way we can hear.
I don't think we can we?
Are you recruiting in Oakmont as well as outside of Oakmont?
Yeah, every time we recruit, we do internal postings and also, external postings. Yeah, and Osvaldo, our regional director of operations, he's the one in charge of doing the recruiting together with our corporate office, recruiting team.
Does anybody else have any questions? Go ahead.
Way back there.
Okay, for a year and a half I've been anxiously awaiting for painting the entire place here. I thought I'd have a heck of an impact on our overall morale, and I know that time is coming up now, and I've been able to see the different paint choices that you have over there. I know that originally, before you came, they had picked out a light gray at that time. And I'm just hoping now, I don't know who chooses this or how you decide it, but I'm hoping you'll not only look at the casitas, but you'll look mentally at the big building that we have here that's 2 stories, and try to keep it light enough to brighten up.
What is the question?
Can you repeat the question?
Maybe I will repeat the question for us.
So the question was about painting. The paint is about painting, and when will painting start, and if it would just be the casitas, or is it going to be the entire building? Yes, so there was a notice that was put out today, and it's also on Life Loop. The painting is going to be the entire community, and it's going to be done in sections. So if you look on Life Loop and look on your boxes back here, there is a letter that gives you detailed where they're going to start and what the next steps will be. But that painting is going to start as of Monday. So Monday, there's not going to be any employee parking back here. That's going to be used for the contractors, for their vehicles and their staging. So
He asked about the color. What color did they choose?
the colors, it's more like an off-whitish on the main building, and then like the pop-outs of the building is kind of like a brown color. Yeah. Go ahead.
Like, a few years ago, we had an interim executive director while we were waiting, I think, for Ron to come. And she was wonderful, we all loved her, but she couldn't stay as a director because she didn't have the necessary credentials for skilled nursing. But
Correct.
now that skilled nursing is owned by somebody else, if I could find her name and give it to you, would you be willing to contact her?
So,
You know who it is?
okay, so the question was,
Okay.
when prior to Ron, there was an interim director, executive director, but she could not stay because she did not have the credentials for skilled nursing. Now that skilled nursing is managed under another company, or is Aspen and is not Oakmont, she's asking if that person, she can have that person's contact number, so possibly to bring that person back. Sal says he knows who that person is.
Oh, okay.
Yes, she was
Yes.
great.
I think her name is Kathleen Olson. She was here at the, when Oakman took over, right? That's when you're talking about, when Oakman took over?
No.
Oh no, then I don't know who that was. Yeah.
Her name is Lisa.
Linda or something, but I
Oh.
got it in my.
Yeah, then that one, I don't know. I thought you were talking when Oakman took over to replace Ron.
What was the name of that bird?
So no, I don't know that person. Mhm.
I don't know about anybody else, but I was pretty shocked when I got the letter saying that Molly, effective immediately, was no longer with Carlotta. That was a pretty, strong. It seemed to me that it was, I don't know, I'd like to know what happened.
Yeah, unfortunately, that I don't have that information. That I wasn't aware of what it was. And
I don't,
that's something that I cannot. I don't have really all the details. I was just called to say, can you please come and assist Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the Carlotta. So and I don't, and sincerely, sometimes there's things that we cannot really talk about. Or there are things that maybe even Osvaldo might not be able to give you an answer exactly of what happened. Because I was...
well, I think we deserve an answer. I mean, she was here for a long time.
Well, there's
Yeah,
privacy
so-
issues too.
So I'll have Vivian talk more about that.
So the question was, you guys received a letter stating that Molly was no longer here. And it was something that was quite abrupt, just done on the spot as of immediately. Wanting more answers as to why she's not here. And like Sal was saying, unfortunately, myself, I wasn't told either, other than this is what it is, and we would be moving forward because we found out the same day that you all found out.
Well, who makes that decision?
Well, that comes from a corporate level. That's not a decision that Sal or myself can make.
Privy to.
Go.
Hi, Sal, welcome.
Thank you.
My name's Pamela Rodance. Just quickly. First of all, we'd like to have a mixer with Segovia, if you could arrange that. Don't you think that would be fun? Also, in regards to Molly leaving, we all have our own thoughts about that. But one of the main parts of Carlotta that we really appreciate is that it's a friendly, family-like atmosphere. This is our home. And whatever the aspects were of Molly's leaving, I think my problem was the way that it was
Yes.
announced to us.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
seemed so disrespectful that on a Friday night, I know they sent an email, but it was to the platform that most of us here don't have, which is the Active Builders. So that was kind of like the operations person wouldn't understand that in our community, that's kind of a out there form of communication. So for most of us, the only way we would have ever known was if we'd gone to our cubby that night and gotten the memo that said the same thing. Maybe you could communicate to, what's his name, Mr. Martinez? Is he the operation? That we probably appreciate a little more, I guess you'd say respectful explanation to us. We're big boys and girls. We know that there's different reasons for contracts to be ended. But most of us were very respectful of Molly and her efforts here. And for some of the people, they knew her because she was here for 15 or 16 years. So that's what I have to say.
More sensitive. Well spoken.
Yeah, I apologize. Like I said, that's out of our control, but I'll make sure that I gave that message to my higher ups so that they
In a nice way.
in a nice way. It's not exactly, yeah, so that they understand that the whole aspect of it, especially that she's been here for a long time, and yeah, that you guys deserve a better,
More sensitivity.
more sensitivity to the case. Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit different attitude. I've
worked in human resources, and I know that a lot of times decisions are made, and that information, whether it's protecting the employee or a department, that always is private. And when you think about it, if Molly were dismissed due to cause, she's probably embarrassed, she's hurt, she probably doesn't want everyone to know the reason. And to tell you the truth, I trust Oakmont, Ivy Living, and the Carlotta to do what's best. It's not always about us. Sometimes it's about the person that is released.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Any more questions? Anyone?
No. You have a question? Anybody have questions on this side? Can you just summarize what she said?
What, who said? Oh dear.
What she meant is, like, she's been, as a professional, she's been in the HR department, human resources. So some of those things are, need to be protective. She doesn't know exactly why it happened, but sometimes when those decisions are made, in order for us to protect the employee or the person and also protect the company, we cannot give any details of that kind of event. And at the same time, she was mentioning that maybe the person that is being, dismissed, that is no longer here, whatever the situation might be, she might not be comfortable with everyone knowing what happened. And we just need to respect that for that.
One of the questions back here was if there is a way to have a box or something where residents can send a letter to Molly so she can receive it. And the next question was, when are we going to get the auditorium back for use?
Yes, we're going to put something out, maybe a little box in the concierge area where you can, put something if you want us to, send it out to Molly. And the auditorium will be, the home Vivian will know more.
So from my understanding, what I was told, that it's going to be flooring that will be brought here on Thursday with installation set for Friday. And hopefully, and it has to set for 24 to 48 hours, the flooring, before anybody can walk on it, so they're trying to do it over the weekend where there's no traffic going through at that time. And keeping our fingers crossed, we'll have it back by Monday, and we can then put all of our furniture back in and we get our auditorium back.
When do we get new furniture?
I'm sorry?
New furniture coming?
Well, that's still in the making. That's still coming.
Yeah. Welltower took over Segovia after, because this building was Welltower before, right? So under Welltower, so they took Segovia after. So I see that they're really putting now their monies into their communities. So I'm probably, your community will start getting some of the staff too. We're also in Segovia requested some staff that we're still waiting for, but I think we're already getting dates. So I'm gonna look into what the dates will be for this community, and as soon as I find out more details, I'll let you know. But I know that they're really looking into putting money into their communities now.
Will you have an email address where we can reach you, or do we go through Vivian?
Yeah, I'll if you go through Vivian, and then I'll give my email address to Vivian. So if you want to directly contact me, and next time I come on Tuesday, I'll bring more business cards that maybe I might have, with her, so that you guys can grab one, and also I'll put some out at the concierge area. So If you want to email me directly, you feel more than happy to do so. And Sina will put it on live loop. Yeah.
Would you remind us of what is the difference in the level of Segovia and the level that the Carlotta is considered within Ivy Living? I think we're considered luxury. Is that correct?
Yes, you're considered luxury. Just the Segovia is the Oakman brand. The Oakman brand is the one that the Gallaghers, the previous ownership group of the Oakman group, they had that brand of Oakman. So Oakman was their high-end, very high-end level.
Premier.
Premier for the CCRCs, and they only had, I think it was like 3 or 4. So that was the Oakman kind of brand, thing when the owners were the Gallaghers. So when the Gallaghers sold them, now the Oakman part of it separated from the Gallaghers too. So Oakman is still, the Gallaghers are not part of Oakman anymore, but they kept the name of Oakman, and they left the ones that the Gallaghers started. They left the Oakman, luxury living. But then the other ones, they started labeling the Ivies, Oak and Ivy. So it's just a different kind of, branding that they're using to differentiate from the original buildings that Oakman had with the Gallaghers, with the other ones that they're acquiring through the other ownership groups.
Does Oakmont have any other communities besides us and Segovia? In the Coachella Valley.
Repeat the question.
Yeah. So she's asking if Oakmont or IB only have these 2 communities here in the valley, or they have more. This is the only 2 communities here in the valley that Oak and IB has at this time. Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I ask a question? You don't have to answer it, but if you can't. But does the state rules about rent raising apply to CCRCs? If the state has rent level caps, does CCRCs fall under that?
She's asking if the state has rent level caps, if that community as a CCRC, those caps apply to us. Unfortunately, that doesn't apply to us because we're not in the housing industry. So those regulations for the state of California, the caps and everything applies to the housing industry.
Okay, thank you.
This is under, health, under the health Department of Social Services, so that doesn't apply to this kind of communities.
Do they have a cap, the Department of Social Services?
No,
Okay.
no, there is no cap on
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Nice try.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Turn off your phone.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Are you satisfied or are you? I think he's talking Carol. Roundabout.
And I'd like to know how frequently you or your assistants are in contact with the Oakmont company. Oakmont company. And how often any of the Oakmont executives come here just to take a look around and meet people and say, how do you think? What do you know? We feel like orphans here, to be very honest with you. And I'm not speaking just alone. When the transition took place a year ago, 3 very competent executives spent several hours here explaining what they were going to do, how they were going to do it, and when they were going to do it. That was very enlightening. We liked it. They showed their face for a couple of days, but to my knowledge, I don't see it all. We haven't seen any of them back. And I know that at least one of them said that they would make a habit of coming on a regular basis. They didn't say when, they didn't say every month, but they said, we will come on a regular basis because
He's gonna repeat it.
Good.
So
He's gonna repeat
that
it.
communication issue is really problematical for us. But there's another side to it. When we have a problem here, it's not just nuts and bolts and fixing screws and screens, but something substantial. The typical response we get is, well, that has to go to corporate. We don't have a budget for that, or it's not in the budget. And it just dies. We have a committee here called Buildings and Grounds, which is a group of guys and gals that really try their best to make things happen, to improve things. And I can assure you, if you look at our meetings, minutes of the meetings over the last 6 months, the same thing comes up every month. And that's where it stops. We have to go to corporate. So I'd like to know, in your job, how often do you deal with corporate, and how often does corporate come to Segovia? To maybe just get a feel for what's going on.
So his question is, and asking me, how often do I have contact with Oakmont management, the corporate office, and how does that relationship is, and how often do they come and visit the buildings? He was mentioning about how when we did the transition, there were a few, corporate people that came in, like 3 people that came in, and they really came in and explained what they were going to be doing. They did whatever they were supposed to do, and they said they were coming back once in a while to visit the community and see how things were going. But he mentions that no one has really done that. That you guys, the feeling is that you guys are out here on your own and not getting any support from corporate, because when you guys request something here in the community, the answer that you guys are getting is, we don't have the budget for that, we have to reach out to corporate. But that's always the answer, and nothing gets done. So, is that?
And how about this is the other way? You get some of their executives to come to Segovia from time to time?
Yeah, let me tell you what the structure is, okay? So that you guys know how the structure of corporate with the directors and everything. So every community, has the executive director in place that is in charge of the community. Then we have the directors, of course, in the communities, but then our connection with corporate is the next level, which is Osvaldo. Osvaldo is our regional director of operations. He has a region. He has the region of about 8 communities or 10 communities that he has under his wing. And that's the way the corporate office gets, divided. They have regionals that they take care of about 8 to 10 communities. So between him and Judith is our marketing and sales vice president. They team together, and they're supposed to be in charge of overseeing his communities that they're assigned to, support the executive directors, and also make the necessary visits to the community to see how things are going. So those are like the main ones that should be coming into the communities as, on a consistent basis or on as needed basis, depending on the needs of every community. Okay. So Osvaldo's region right now, they give him buildings here, the 2 buildings that we have here. He has buildings in San Diego area. He has buildings in Las Vegas, and he has buildings, 1 building in Hawaii. So as you can see, he's quite spread out, and he will support the communities as they need them to, depending on the urgency of different items. The other higher ups after Osvaldo and Judith, those people will come into the communities once a year to make a visit to see how things are going in the communities. So those are, like the CEOs or, like the CFOs or the bigger, senior vice president or senior president of marketing and sales. So those people will come into the communities if necessary once a year. And that's what I have seen in Segovia. Like, I don't know if you guys know the name of Scott Carlson. Scott Carlson is the vice president of operations. He's one of the higher ups. He comes to the buildings once a year. Since I've been in Segovia, he has been there once a year. But then the ones that come more frequently will be your regional, director of operations, which is Osvaldo, and the sales director, which will be Judith. So that's how the structure is. And then on regards to how the requests go, or how can we get connected with corporate and your request, is you have committees, like the grounds and the health, and then so you guys get together, you bring up ideas or suggestions of what can we do better in the community, and then any suggestions have to be brought up to the resident council. Then the resident council with the executive director, we discuss about it. We discuss what kind of solutions can we have, what things can be done, what things cannot be done. And if at the level of the executive director, I can make these changes, and it's up to me, and I have the ability to make changes, then I'll make them. But if not, then I need to make sure that I follow the proper channels and get involvement of Osvaldo, or get involvement of the corporate people if it's something that requires safety. If it's a safety measure that we need to place immediately, of course, they're gonna approve it right away. But sometimes there are things that we need to wait until we do the CapEx request for the following year, because depending on the how big the project is, depending on what the necessity is, but the company is always gonna look for safety. If it's something that is safety wise, then of course they're gonna make sure that we get taken care of right away.
Do you know, Vivian, it's not fair to ask
Talk loudly, I know I talk a lot,
such a
but
short
loudly.
period, but do you know if one of those?
I'm trying to get how you started your flow chart.
Here.
Osvaldo or Judith?
Yourself, the executive director of Segovia,
Did,
A couple of weeks ago.
and then you went to Osvaldo Regional,
did
the large
anyone know
regional.
that the residents to
One of the
integrate?
things that you said that changes the dynamics in that was that as you went on, Osvaldo, the regional director, reaches out to the marketing sales director,
That was my,
not only you.
So you want to see a flow chart?
Yeah.
So her question is if you can repeat the flow chart of the executive orders, how everybody else.
There were two people talking at the same time.
Yeah. So they want me to repeat what the floor chart of would be, okay?
Marketing and executive
Uh-huh.
directors.
So the marketing team, we have a vice president and a regional director of operations. They're together. They're for that region. So they're the ones that support the community, their communities. They get assigned a number of communities, and that's under their wing, and they're the main support for those communities to support the executive directors. So the executive directors are here. Then you have the Osvaldo, the regional director of operations, together with the sales vice president, sales and marketing vice president, which her name is Judith. Okay, so they're team up because they're very important. Our Oakman is really important about the operations and of course about the marketing and the sales. So they team up and they oversee those communities. Now above them.
But you can speak directly to Osvaldo.
Oh yes.
Okay. it's
Yeah,
to go through marketing.
Yeah, he's my boss. So Osvaldo is, I'm the liaison between the community and Osvaldo. And Osvaldo is the liaison between me and the higher ups on Oakman.
Mr. Kepner?
This is a continuation of Gordon's question, and that is Osvaldo. How many times has Osvaldo been to Segovia and talked to the residents or the resident council? None. I can answer it for you.
Let
The
me
same
think about
amount
it.
he's been here. None.
Yes, no.
And that's the question. We never see
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
They probably come on Sunday night, after 10, and we're all asleep. They don't find out what we think, so it's a case where, that's the question. Why
Yeah,
not?
that thing, I understand it, but they're like I said, they're taking care of so many communities, and sometimes I know that you guys deserve, you know, to have them.
No. That don't fly. That
No.
don't fly.
What
I know we'd rather be in Hawaii than be here, but that's not the answer.
No, I understand your point of view that you want them to attend, you know, but the way that this thing works is the executive director is the one that should be the liaison between the resident council, and the executive director is the one that has to help you here to solve your problems. That's my responsibility. That's what I'm here as an executive director, to make sure that I solve your problems and that you don't have the need to go to any higher ups. Right? Because if I'm constantly going to Osvaldo and asking questions, Osvaldo this, Osvaldo help me solve this, Osvaldo help me solve that, Osvaldo this and that, then what am I doing as my job? My job, when I take this job as an executive director, is to make sure that I take care of the building, I take care of the residents, I take care of the staff. So that's what the expectations of the regionals are.
We have an opening for our executive director. And I'm trying to recruit.
And yeah, so that's the way it works. And of course, if there is something, an emergency or something that they need to jump in, they're gonna jump in. But yeah, I understand. I would like to Osvaldo to talk more to the residents, you know, in Segovia and here, you know. But sometimes, you know, it's not feasible. I'm gonna make sure that he knows that. I'm gonna let him know that, you know, it may be good for him to stop by once in a while and maybe join one of the resident association meetings, so that he can get to know, you know, some of you.
Saul, will you be coming to any of the resident council meetings if they're not on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, which they happen to be, but if they're not, would you be willing to come?
If I know ahead of time, I'll make sure. Like I said, I'm only 10 minutes away from, you know, from Segovia.
Okay.
So it's not that far.
Hold on, we got some other questions over here.
They want to know, one of the questions, how are we licensed? One of the questions was, I think on this side, how are we licensed?
I asked them, we're obviously licensed through the state of California, but what division are we under?
Yeah, so she's asking where's our license under? Where are we licensed under? So we're under the Department of Social Services, and that's considered RCFE, which is what's it called? Residential Community or something like that. No, it's and then like, we have the RCFE, but we also have the CCRC, which is the continuing care license that we have. So we have two different licenses, and the two of them are under the Department of Social Services. And that's because we have assisted living, we have independent living, and you know, in this case, we used to have the skill.
Is there a way that we can have a printout of this hierarchy that you have taken a long time to describe? I don't know about the others, but I know there's no way I will remember all those titles and those descriptions.
Yes, I'll make sure that you guys get like a flow chart of the hierarchy. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we were in 524 Concita, and Mark was very helpful to us the entire time. He sold us the unit and all that, and suddenly he was gone.
Yeah.
That's another wife.
So the question was, Mark was here and assisted 524 into the casita, and now Mark is gone. And he's asking why. So that would still fall under the same as Molly. There's only so much that is being told to us. I don't know why he was gone. That was just something that came in, and that's what they decided at that time. Same thing out of respect for Molly and Mark. That's just something that has not been disclosed to us, and probably for legal matters will not be disclosed to us.
We were told.
So I have time for one more question.
Yeah, Nicole's about to have a fit.
Yeah, Nicole's back here trying to boot me out, but one more.
It's always my fault.
Okay, so the question is, real quick, is the wallpaper and the painting The question that we have next is about the interior look of the community, the paint and the wallpaper. Is that going to be changed and updated?
And the roads.
And the roads.
Yeah, the roads.
Like I mentioned before, I'll look into that. I don't know what the CapEx projects are for this year, so I'm gonna reach out to the corporate CapEx department, and I'll make sure I have an answer for you, okay? And to see when things are gonna happen. Right, just to close it down, I really want to thank you all for stopping by, and just, feel free to let me know if you need anything. And like I said, I'm here to support you. I'm here to help out to things, to make things, get things rolling the same way they are, or making them better for you with the wonderful team that you have here as directors. Okay? Take care. Have a good afternoon.
Don't everybody rush out at one time. There's kind of seats in the way of the exit area, so please let maybe the back rows leave first. Be very careful as you're walking through the aisleways here. If you have headphones, I'll be by to pick them up.
Just leave them on the table.
Have a safe trip.
Did you say that